All right, so I was gonna pop on, making all those quick videos of just stuff I'm listening to right now. Either I've had for a long time or just got and gave a couple spins. But first, before I do that and I go run some errands, you know, obviously we all know what the hell I was watching, trying to watch. Uh, we all know what the results are. Just first of all, one thing I gotta say: what you gonna do, brother, when ad mania runs wild on you? Because that's what the hell it turned into, didn't it? Fucking commercial mania. Ad mania is better. You, you get what 7 minutes a match tops, most of those, uh, and then you get 4 minutes of they pulled the damn feed. We will be right back. Without the snow effect, but still, that's the general idea. And then they come back after 3, 4 minutes, and it's just more commercials and ads and engagement farming. Uh, I stopped watching Raw a long time ago. This is WrestleMania. If you're gonna give me 3.5 hours of the biggest pay per view PLE in the damn company in the damn world, why is there no wrestling? You're telling me that you couldn't give Vicaire and Liv, who pretty much organically built this story in 3 weeks, and made it so damn believable. You're not going to give them more than 6 minutes, 7 minutes. You've got such a chance for a good blow off there. I don't know what the problem is. Vicaire can work. Liv can work when she needs to, or she really wants to. We know that. 7 minutes? I respect that they gave Vicaire an out and everything like that. So, it furthers the storyline. Great. But that's it. Well, you've got the unsanctioned match, which was not anywhere close to being, forget ECW levels, but we're not even going to say AEW levels of unsanctioned. But it was actually a good wrestling match. Still, you don't tease the hardcore match and it's just no DQ where nothing really happens. It was on ESPN too. I mean, they weren't going to show blood on ESPN too unless it was like a UFC match that went south. So I don't know. I obviously McAfee shouldn't have been there in the first place. That was his whole getting stretchered on a bed table spot and then coming back up. How is he sprinting? I'm not a professional athlete. I do a lot of running. I do, a lot of barbells and dumbbell lifting. Could could someone explain to me? Because I know when my knee hurts, you know, I ain't doing a whole lot of sprinting that much. I gotta let it rest. You're telling me he came out, Pat came back out 10 minutes later with a neck brace and sprinted down that whole damn aisle like he was Charles Robinson with a neck brace. Now, some things just, I can tell you just from sleeping the wrong way nowadays, the joys of getting older. Once you hit 30 plus, it turns into shit where you sleep at the wrong angle and, oh God, my neck. Oh, yeah, and it hurts to even take a walk sometimes. You're telling me he's got a neck brace in 10 minutes and he's sprinting down that 30 foot, 30 foot, it's longer than that. But still, you know what I mean? That something just doesn't make sense here. I know this is pro wrestling. It doesn't have to make total logic, but I couldn't buy that one. That was pretty damn goofy. But again, it's wrestling. I don't think Cody should have won, but since they're looking to now get to Backlash and course correct after the fact, okay. Okay, and honestly, the way it played out, you have, with Cody doing the eye poke, the ball kick. Okay, now we're starting to get some desperation heel tendencies here. Maybe not that often, but it could be a start of something. Now we've got an angle to go with, especially with the busted eye, and he didn't roll out that punt kick. He just ate that whole freaking kick. Still, the real highlight, the thing was Gunther and Seth. That, that was absolutely the best wrestling match on night one of Wrestlemania. I'm sorry, Admania. What happened to? Again, this is how long I'm out of touch with the regular weekly product. But you're on a pay per view, PLE. I remember late 90s to, I want to say about 2008, when there was time to kill. Not only were there video packages, but earlier in the night there'd be a backstage vignette. Maybe a brawl would break out, or someone would get, they get popped from behind, they go down, they get the crap beat out of them. Oh no, he has to be taken to the medical facility for evaluation. And then an hour later, whoever it was that got their ass jumped would come back. Maybe they'd have a bruise over the eye, or they'd have tape because they got busted open. And now it would get, the cut would get opened up during the match, and now he's got the blood. And now it's storyline. You're furthering something. You're furthering the build to the match. Or they'd be doing an interview, someone would walk by, there'd be a crossword, and then whoever they were bickering with might just run down and do interference in the middle of the match later, or the next match. It was something to always keep either the backstage funny vignettes or interviews, or maybe even a 2-3 minute video package, just giving us what we got to know in the break time. And that would further the story for later in the night, or it would set up Monday night, and so on and so forth. And off we go to the next 4 weeks to the next pay per view, that PLE. So for 3.5 hours of night one of WrestleMania, while the number of matches, you probably could have thrown another one in, not god awful, but where's the match times? Where's the slightly longer matches? And if you're not gonna do more than 7 minutes a match, in the old days the pay-per-view didn't go more than 2.5 to 3 hours, but you had 9-10 matches. You're doing 7, and you're leaving it wide open for just advertisements and a blank TV screen. I know this was more of a live thing, but I recall going to live events years ago, and you would have in the middle of the show, when they were taping it, because it was SmackDown, usually it wasn't live, there would be a dark match, or there'd be some sort of filler with, the jobber / enhancement talent, whatever, or it'd be tour guys on the lower card or somewhere in the mid card that, just needed to get a couple of rounds in or further their story, but it didn't need to be on TV for that week. So Vince would send them out there to keep their angle going for next week, and then they came back on TV. If you could do 1 or 2 of those in the breaks at pay-per-view at PLEs, because I went to Backlash last year, and I'll be damned, my buddy and I weren't sitting there going, what do you mean we got that match went 25 minutes? Why'd it go that long? That one didn't need to go that long. But now we're sitting on our asses for another 20 minutes not doing anything? This is boring as hell. Send out a couple of other people we don't see that often, especially if we're in the audience. We're actually at the building. Let them do a couple of filler matches. Let them work on their talents. Let them have a chance to get over and see what works in front of the crowd, like you used to do with the house shows. But you could do that as dark matches at the pay-per-views and fill time, and that gives the talent more opportunities to hone their craft. Maybe they grab the mic afterwards and cut a promo on whoever they were just fighting, and then there we go. WWE has so much. They have a pretty good roster. I mean, why not, if you're going to give us all this junk time, both there and at home, with the thousands of dollars that some people spent, some, you know, just to get a ticket, nothing at all, and ads. I get the need to go to the bathroom and, you know, go buy more food and everything, but at least give the people in the audience something else to care about, somebody else to look forward to when they get home and go, that other little match I saw that wasn't on the feed. Those two look pretty good. Let's run those back again. Maybe it's NXT people, or it's uh God forbid it's somebody who's barely used but has been seen on TV in the last 2-3 months. You know, and for us at home trying to watch it, maybe don't cut the feed for 4 minutes at a time and sequence all these fucking commercial ads for the whole damn thing. You could have yanked one of those ads and sent out at least twice 2 to 4 NXT people, and or had a crossover with someone else on the main roster, just to give more people exposure to more of the up and comers, because not everybody watches NXT religiously. I check in on occasion to see what the hell's going on and who's who, but for much of the people in the crowd who are just casuals, who aren't diehards, you want to keep them coming back and spending the money. Give them more product. It's not always going to be perfect. This is wrestling. Shit happens, but that's how Undertaker, Steve, even Triple H, they all over the years got better because they kept working. They kept finding out what worked, what didn't work. So now you're going to WrestleMania for thousands of dollars. Fortunately, at the end it was a couple hundred for some people. They wait till they got tickets day of. But you've got 78 minutes of actual wrestle time out of a 3.5 hour show. Come on, this is WrestleMania. And I'm sure Punk and Roman are going to go 30 minutes. And they're probably going to fuck us over and put it on Roman, even though Roman ain't going to show up to work more, do more with the belt. He's going to be even more of a, at least Punk is there. He don't have to wrestle every week, but he's fucking there. Say what you want. And now they're going to say, oh, because the tickets were down, it was Punk's fault, and it might be Cody's fault. Not that it's their lack of creative ability to push people or write good, coherent stories at the moment. This is that downtime of the year. It shouldn't be, it's WrestleMania, but they're in a bus cycle right now. So instead of blaming whoever the top two guys are, maybe you need to work on the overall product, the overall creative. Granted, two of the better women talent are now out with pregnancies, but okay, let's fill some other voids then. It's not hard. You keep going just because people are out. The show has to go on. But I don't know. I was only going to be here for 5 minutes talking about Ad Mania running wild, but it just pissed me off so much because I remember what these pay-per-views were like. And I don't think you should be spending thousands of dollars to basically go to another Monday Night Raw when it's WrestleMania. I don't think I'm asking much. It's just a little common sense, but here we are. Once Vince sold to TKO, we knew this shit was coming. Sooner or later, it was coming. And yeah, now we're just the biggest 2 nights of the damn wrestling world, and ads. And apparently, if you VPN'd it through Netflix outside, you actually got a good chunk of the new Hulk Hogan documentary that's coming. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I even read a comment might have been on Twitter, X. The guy goes, damn, he goes, I used a VPN just to watch this thing for nothing. Even I still feel like I got robbed. That's how you know it's bad. When even the guy who pirated it is going, Damn, I still feel like I got robbed. God. But enough of this rant for right now. I'm gonna go run a couple errands and then come back, play some more music, go through these things ASAP because I've already got like 5 records over here to show off. I'm not gonna take too much longer. Uh, you guys don't have the. I don't know if you don't have the attention span because I'm not good enough yet showing off my actual English skills, and how awkward I can be after a minute just rambling. So I get it. No one's commenting. People don't sit through the whole video. Whatever. I'll fucking figure it out. But that was night 1 of Ad Mania running wild. Let's see what they give us for night 2. Oof. Ugh. Shit's gotta change, man.